Hello again, this is Rolemiel here. This time I will, rather than playing F-Zero, be playing Terraria. And also, unlike my previous videos, I am actually recording as I play, not on the same computer, because I still am not able to do both of those at once. But I have a laptop in my lap on which I am recording my voice, and then my main computer on which I am playing Terraria. So, getting into Terraria. I have a character pre-made for this, though I have not made a world, which I will do now. I'll go ahead and make a small world, just be okay with that for now. Let's see, name. What do I want to make for a name? Happyfunsunshineland. Yes. That is what I want my name to be. And now the world is generating. I'm making Happyfunsunshineland. Okay, here we go. Happyfunsunshineland. Much more creative than my other world names. And then, as you will see, my character, who I gave rather strange features, already has an item. I have wings. And this is pretty much just directly a case of I'm cheating. I already have a pretty much fully endgame character, and at the point where I have that character, just making new characters, I cannot stand the fact that jumping is so small and that I take falling damage. That just leads to unnecessary levels of death. And so I fixed this by just going ahead and making myself a pair of wings and being done with it. If you aren't used to Terraria, then you will have to learn that making a new character, you do not start out with a pair of wings. Life isn't that easy. Sucks to be you. So I'm going to start cutting down these trees rather painfully slowly. Just kind of getting a hang of the world, getting ready to make a house, and I have my sword for fighting that slime, and typically that's actually unusual of me, because, as I'll show once I finish with this tree, each of my items has an attribute to it. And typically, I really hate using the early game swords, because when you're attacking with a sword, you can't just hold down the mouse button. You have to click every single time you attack. And that just gets so much on my nerves. But this is a godly copper sword, short sword, and that gives it such a notable gain in power. I have 20% more damage, 5% higher critical strike chance, and 15% knockback, though the knockback can be annoying, and that's pretty much as good as this sword's going to get. So for now I'm going to use the sword, though in general I actually prefer using pickaxes, because as they're designed for mining, you can just continually swing and hold down the mouse button, which I do prefer. Though later in the game you actually run into some swords that you can hold down, and I do end up liking to use those some of the time, but just I typically refuse to deal with not having that convenience. So, going ahead and preparing for the night rather early, I'm making my cute little house. I'm going to make a workbench and set that down in the corner. And this house is actually probably going to be temporary, because I have a typical style of house that I tend to make, and it doesn't tend to work as well for an early house, so I'll likely at some point be tearing this down and restarting, but for now I think it'll do. So going to go ahead and make a bunch of wood wall and fill this all in. And what's going to really get on my nerves is that the misplaced wall in the corner I can't deal with yet, because I do not yet have a hammer with which to be removing that. So for now I get to put up with that mistake. And I'm going to go ahead and chop down many more trees preparing for the night. Because once night hits, I'm probably going to start mining, and once I start mining, I have a very, very difficult time getting myself to stop, because that's where most of the fun is, at least for now. Eventually you start to get into more surface-based things, but first thing you want to do is mining. Sometimes early materials can be found above ground, but I don't tend to enjoy looking for those except for when I'm already exploring for other things. So just, as you can see, the sun is right in the middle of the sky, so I've got half a day to chop down as many trees as I can to get as much wood for my upcoming trips into the depths of the game. And then I'm not really going far enough, but I am somewhat taking note of the general type of landscape around me, because that important things can start to come up as I go further out. First will probably be the corruption, which is an interesting aspect of the game to be dealing with. I have a full stack of wood now, and so I'm probably going to just get this tree because I started it and then do more interesting things, because chopping wood isn't that fun. Over here, I believe in the ground I'm actually seeing deposits of something to be mining. Yeah, I have found iron, which is what I was hoping for, so I'm going to go ahead and mine that. And then, just because I'm a bit obsessive about this, I'm probably going to fill this back in, just because I don't like covering my map in gaping holes. That little bit's probably going to get on my nerves, but nonetheless I'll eventually get materials to be dealing with that. Then there's a nice little pit there. I'm running into some snow, which is nice, and I've found a nice deposit of copper ore. Then I'm coming into the question of, do I want to mine these last copper ores and let the water come through, or should I just leave them as they are? And being me, I am of course going ahead and mining them despite possible consequences, such as this little pool of water here. And there's a cute little bird. It has eluded me for now, but nonetheless, I shall return to it. This dark cave is reminding me that I probably want to be getting some lighting, which I can't do too much because I've only run into the couple slimes that I saw at the beginning of the... Speaking of slimes, the couple slimes that I've run into at the beginning of the video. So, right. I forgot that I had such a powerful sword that I can use. Not that it seems to be helping me too much in the way of damage. But nonetheless, I have defeated the slime and found a treasure chest. So, I have a lesser healing potion, iron bars, which will come in very handy this early, some grenades, which I tend to not use too much, and a godly boomerang, which I will now use to take care of this slime. And typically I would take the chest with me as a free storage space, but again, I do not yet have a hammer, which is used for knocking out chests, so I will have to leave that for now. In general, for the first half of the game or so, I do prefer to use ranged weapons, magic weapons. I'm just very unimpressed with the quality of melee weapons for a good period of time in this game, and just as soon as I can get my hands on something else, I tend to consider that my best choice. So I'm probably going to be using this boomerang as a weapon for a good period of time.